life masked a very different one in private. A shadow loomed cast by the prince's release
to allow, quote, her son and the entire royal family to draw a line under the case that had threatened to
really did have to make a decision. Andrew will no longer be addressed as His Royal Highness, and what's more is that he won't.
You know, it all started the moment Queen Elizabeth had to make one of the toughest decisions of her reign, and trust me, it shook the palace from the inside out. She wanted to let her son, Prince Andrew, and the entire royal family finally draw a line under that scandal that had threatened to destroy everything. But nobody expected what came next. Andrew wasn't just losing titles or prestige, he was losing his entire identity. The Queen made her choice. He would no longer be addressed as His Royal Highness. And that single line changed everything. But here's where the real twist begins, because out of nowhere, whispers started circling that Meghan Markle's name was quietly being dragged into the same web. That's right, Meghan. And if you think the connection between her and Andrew doesn't exist, oh, just wait till you hear this, because apparently Andrew is about to break his silence. After years of saying nothing, he's ready to talk. And Meghan, she's panicking, like really panicking.
Breaking news and allegations about Prince Andrew are flooding the media.
You might think this is all about old scandals, but it's way deeper. When Andrew's world came crashing down, titles stripped, reputation destroyed, future gone, the entire planet watched in disbelief. But here's the part nobody talks about. Meghan moved in the same social spaces around the same time with the same crowd. Yet, when Andrew fell, the press went deadly silent on her. No questions, no headlines, nothing. One royal destroyed, the other untouched. Random? Not a chance. It looked like deliberate protection. Because if she really was connected to that world even slightly, it would blow up the whole narrative. What if Harry wasn't even her first royal target? What if Meghan's connection to Andrew was the chapter the palace buried on purpose? I know, sounds insane, but buckle up, because what's hidden beneath this royal fairy tale could turn the monarchy upside down. Before Meghan ever became Duchess of Sussex, long before the wedding bells and Oprah interviews, there was already a shadowy link between her and Prince Andrew, something eerily similar to what happened with Sarah Ferguson years ago. Now, you might ask, how on earth could Meghan, an actress from Hollywood, possibly have crossed paths with Andrew, the Queen's son? Two completely different worlds, right? But those worlds did overlap. People close to Andrew say he actually knew Meghan years before she even met Harry. Not a casual handshake or quick chat at a charity event, no. We're talking about running in the same exclusive circles, private parties, yacht gatherings, the elite social scene where access is currency and secrets are guarded like treasure. And that's not even the wildest part. Around 2014, photos started surfacing of Meghan on a private yacht, not a public cruise, not a casual trip, a private yacht, the kind that screams exclusive. And guess who else was tied to that same luxury world at that time? Karina Shuliak, a woman who openly admitted that her jet-set lifestyle was tied to those same exclusive groups during those very years. The kind of circles where Prince Andrew was also...
There's absolutely zero doubt in my mind. Rachel Meghan Markle was a semi-expensive yacht girl.
Very present. So Meghan's presence there, not coincidence, not random. It was the same environment, the same world that would later explode into royal scandal. And here's what's chilling. There's no public record of how Meghan and Andrew first met. None. Not a single line in any official biography. No mentions in interviews. No gossip magazine ever connecting the dots. It's like someone went in and scrubbed that history clean. When you bury something that thoroughly, there's usually a reason. Now, let's rewind to Toronto, the city that changed everything. Meghan was filming Suits, living a modest, hard-working life. No royal titles, no palaces, just ambition and hustle. But then she met Marcus Anderson. Marcus, senior figure at Soho House, one of the most elite private networks in the world. a place where billionaires, royals, and power brokers mingle behind closed doors. And Marcus? He didn't just introduce her to people, he opened the gates of that secretive elite world. Through him came access to celebrities, moguls, and yes, connections that linked right back to the royals. And that's when Meghan's life started changing fast. Toronto, London, New York, her circle got tighter,
engulfing the royal family and threatening the firm itself.
This is the most dangerous.
richer, and far more powerful. Through Marcus, she met Jessica Mulrooney, close to Canadian and British elite families, and suddenly, Meghan wasn't just another actress. She was someone who mattered in those spaces. And guess what? That's when whispers of her proximity to Andrew started resurfacing. She knew the dynamics, the rules, the players. She wasn't learning royal etiquette for the first time. When she married Harry, she had been orbiting that world already. Which leads to the biggest bombshell of all, according to insiders. Meghan's first target wasn't Harry. It was Andrew. That's right. Meghan allegedly saw Andrew as her ticket into the royal inner circle. He was older, influential, deeply connected to the palace structure, the perfect entry point. But there was one problem standing in her way: Sarah Ferguson. Fergie, Andrew's ex-wife, still protective of him, still close to the family, saw Meghan's approach from a mile away, and she blocked it completely. And just like that, door closed. Game over. But Meghan? She didn't walk away, she pivoted. Then came Harry, younger, emotional, still haunted by his mother's death, desperate for real love, and Meghan slipped right in. It wasn't fate. It was opportunity, perfectly timed, perfectly played. Harry believed he'd found someone who understood his pain, someone outside the rigid palace walls. He thought marrying Meghan meant freedom, his own choice, his new beginning. But whispers started. People who knew the royal world began connecting dots. The yacht photos, the elite parties, the Andrew link.
There are moments in life when silence says more than words ever could. Because while the world looked away, Meghan is reportedly...
Harry refused to believe it. He fought anyone who questioned Meghan. He cut ties with family members who raised concerns, even William. To him, they were jealous, controlling, unwilling to see how happy he was. He chose her over everyone: his brother, his father, the palace. He burned bridges, crossed oceans, and built a new life in California, convinced that distance would bring peace. But the whispers followed. Slowly, painfully, he began hearing things again from people who had been there, who knew what went on in those exclusive circles. They didn't want fame or attention, they just wanted him to understand what really happened before he ever entered Meghan's world. And that's when Harry started realizing maybe his family hadn't been trying to destroy him. Maybe they were trying to protect him. That realization, it broke him. He started seeing the timeline differently. The secrecy, the strange coincidences, the people Meghan surrounded herself with. He started wondering, had he been a replacement all along? And if you think the story couldn't get any darker, oh, it does. Because the palace didn't just stay silent out of respect. They stayed silent because they had to. You see, there were 3 huge reasons they couldn't let this blow up. First, Harry's mental state. The man was already fragile. If this kind of revelation came out that his wife might have once been connected to the same world that destroyed Andrew, he could have completely broken down. And not privately, publicly. The palace couldn't risk that. Second, the monarchy's image. Andrew's scandal already dragged them through the mud. If Meghan's name got pulled into that same orbit, the monarchy might not survive another hit. It would have been catastrophic. And third, the institution's reputation. Imagine the outrage if the public learned the palace had known about Meghan's connection to Andrew and still allowed her to marry Harry. It would have made them look incompetent, careless, reckless even. So, they did the only thing they could. They buried it, silenced it. Every press outlet, every journalist who even sniffed around this topic suddenly backed off. It wasn't coincidence. It was control. The kind of top-level call the editors control that only comes from the highest offices in the palace. And for years, it worked. Until now, because Prince Andrew is furious, absolutely livid. He lost everything: titles, reputation, future, while Meghan walked away with global fame, royal status, and palace protection. And he's done staying quiet. He's reportedly ready to talk, to leak what he knows, to expose what everyone's been too afraid to say. He has nothing left to lose, which makes him the most dangerous person in this game. Someone with no future doesn't need secrets. And Sarah Ferguson? She's with him. She remembers the early days, the moment she blocked Meghan's path into Andrew's life, the whispers, the tension. She knows things. Together, they hold pieces of a puzzle that could blow the palace wide open. If Andrew speaks, everything changes. Meghan's carefully crafted image gone. Her influence gone. The royal fairy tale shattered, because once the truth about those early connections and the strategic moves comes out, there's no putting it back. The palace is frozen in fear right now, knowing Andrew might finally break his silence. Harry's reportedly unraveling under the weight of it all, realizing that maybe, just maybe, he wasn't Meghan's first choice. And Meghan herself? Panicking, because she knows Andrew's fury could end everything. They buried this story for years, protected her for the sake of the monarchy's survival, but now, the silence is cracking. Andrew's anger has reached a boiling point. Fergie's loyalty to the palace is gone, and the one secret that could burn it all down, it's about to be spoken out loud. The fairy tale everyone believed, the love story the world adored, may have been built on a buried truth darker than anyone ever imagined. This story isn't over, it's just getting started. And when Andrew finally speaks, the royal world will never be the same again. You know, this whole thing started when the Queen had no choice but to make one of the hardest calls of her life, letting Prince Andrew go. She wanted the entire royal family to draw a line under a case that had nearly destroyed the monarchy's dignity. Andrew was stripped of his titles, his name, and his honor. But just when everyone thought the scandal had finally settled, another storm started brewing, and this time, Meghan Markle's name quietly slipped into the shadows of it all. Andrew is reportedly about to break his silence. After years of humiliation and exile, he's ready to talk. And guess who's terrified? Meghan. Because when Andrew speaks, he could drag her name right into the same darkness that ruined him. See, back when Andrew's world collapsed, Meghan was floating around those same elite circles, the private parties, exclusive yachts, and the glittering social scenes where power whispered behind closed doors. People who were around then say Andrew and Meghan actually knew each other before Harry ever entered her life. Not a passing introduction, but a real connection. Mutual friends, shared events, the same high society world few outsiders ever touch. There are even photos from 2014 showing Meghan on a private yacht, not some tourist cruise, but the kind only the ultra-rich get invited to. And guess who was part of that same scene? The same faces later tied to Andrew's downfall. Coincidence? Please. It's like someone deliberately scrubbed that part of Meghan's life clean. No articles, no interviews, no mentions anywhere, total silence. Because if people knew how close she'd once been to that world, the fairy tale image of the innocent Duchess would collapse in seconds. And according to insiders, she wasn't just floating through. She was strategic, calculated, learning how that world worked, planning her next move. And when Sarah Ferguson, noticed Meghan getting too close to Andrew, she shut it down fast. Meghan's first path into royalty was blocked, but that didn't stop her. The moment Prince Harry appeared, Meghan pivoted. Same goal, different route. She played it smart, turned charm into opportunity, heartbreak into headlines. Now Andrew's got nothing left to lose. And a man with nothing left? He doesn't keep secrets. If he talks, Meghan's entire royal fairy tale could crumble overnight, and the palace knows it.